Hey everybody, welcome to the March energy forecast. We are looking at a really interesting month this month, and so I decided to go back to the way I used to do the monthly forecast, which was a 15 card spread that gave us different sectors to look at for the entire month. And I found it to be very accurate. So let's just dive into I have something to tell you first. I better not forget this. March the 9th, in the next week, I am going to be doing the Global Spirit Jam, and it's a free event for everybody to come and do an activation because we are concluding an astrological year and starting a new one in March. So we're really, reactivating our commitment to our partnership with spirit, our connection to divine will, and asking that it be through us. I'm going to be doing readings. I'm going to be doing mediumship. I'm doing intuitive coaching, basically whatever comes up for anybody. So it's a fantastic event. Normally I only do readings in my membership site, but so many people were asking when we're going to do another one of these bigger events. And, the long ones, so I thought, let's just do it on a Saturday and have people come. And the more people that come, the more amazing it gets. So it's readings, it's meditation, it's an activation. And I'm going to be doing a collective reading for everybody there as well too. So there's going to be a lot going on. March 9th, there's going to be a link somewhere, and I hope to see you. It's going to be great. Okay, so let's talk about the main theme. Now, the way the 15 card spread, these are stories, right? So they're stories that tell us something about different segments of the way we experience life. So our main theme for the month of March is quite beautiful. The center card is Truth Be Told. I'm going to show you all three cards of each section, okay? So I'm using Wisdom of the Oracle, which is the deck that I teach with. So Truth Be Told is the center card. It's flanked by Peace and Chop Wood. So I'll tell you what they mean together, because individually they mean something a little different than when they're coming together as a group. So, remembering that we are culminating, whatever it was that was on our plates last March in 2023, whatever you were going through, whatever was coming up for you at the time, whatever you had committed to doing. This is a time for closure around that. And it's a time for you to basically put a bow on things. It's a very gentle month. But it is definitely introspective. So when Peace and Truth Be Told are together flanking each other, it means introspection and getting rigorously honest with yourself, but in a compassionate way. It's not a way for you to I'm going to get in there. And then it's that when shadow work is an invitation to forgive, to be in process, to really look at the unmet parts of yourself for the past year, and also to take an inventory of the things you still need to do, which is the Chop Wood card. So it's this is a gentle landing in March, a regrouping in March. Again, this is just the first 3 weeks of March because we get shot out of a cannon at the end of the month when we get into Aries season. But Pisces is a very quiet. It should be quiet contemplation whenever you can. It's not saying our lives are not going to be super busy, but ultimately we want to ensure that we're going to get what we need, and that is to take time. So everybody is required or invited to take time for introspection and to ask yourself important questions. Now, the next three cards tell us where we're naturally headed. So I always tell people we are stories in motion, and that's a really important thing to think about. That, in fact, we're not actually ever solid in one place, so what we are always in motion, we're always evolving, even if we don't think we are. And even sometimes we think we're going backwards, we're actually going up and around. The spiral dancer goes like this. So we are at a different level to look down at the same events. So we're naturally flowing into these three cards. So these are Poised, TikTok, and Orphaned. And I'll tell you about what that is. So here are these three cards: poised, tick-tock, and orphaned. Now, this is about, we are ready this month, right? We are really ready to go deeper and to acknowledge our sadness, to recognize that the world that we have built up until now is in flux, in big flux, but that we might be deeply saddened, right? That we have feelings that maybe we've been trying to shove down and avoid by bypassing or whatever we do to stay happy, which I think is a mistake. I think we absolutely have to acknowledge to ourselves the more difficult emotions that we have. And we are ready to love that part of ourselves. That's a really key and crucial piece of shadow work, which is really about understanding the treasures that we can discover in the darker places. But this is really about, the heartfelt sadness that we have for the state of the world, but that we're ready to change it. TikTok tells us we have time, and it will take time. But the orphaned card also reminds us about belonging, that, and I do think that this has been such an important theme even since the pandemic, about connections, belonging, friendships. What does it mean for us to be connected to each other? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, us being orphaned is an illusion, because we are always intrinsically connected to one another and to nature and to the world, and our behaviors, our beliefs, the things that we do, create more and more separation. So it's requiring us to gently look at this, not to go in with a harsh light. It's a soft light. We're ready to take the soft light in. I think this is really a beautiful way to approach March, to say, you know what, I have been sad, and it's okay for me to be sad, both and. I can still feel that I can be in the world, but not of it. Okay, Bizou, hang on one sec. Just say hi to Bizou. Want to say hi? Yes. Want to say hi to everybody. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to put you down now, okay? We're obviously in my office. There you go. I like it better than the fancy studio. There you sit down. Yeah, you go sit down. Okay. Dog is gone. Here we go. So, nope. Shh. Oh, no, they're going to bark. When we look at March, again, it's a soft approach. It's a gentle approach, but it is a clear invitation for us to kind of put our hands around ourselves and each other. So the next group is all about our obstacles, right? The next three cards are about obstacles, or what helps us over our obstacles. So it can, the way I read this is that it could either describe the obstacle, but it could also tell us how we move through the obstacle. So these three cards are regeneration, mending, and a leg up. So this tells a really interesting story. So the obstacle is allowing something new. Isn't that interesting? So it's requiring us to let go our rigid ideas about how life should be. And our opinions don't necessarily mean that that's wisdom, right? So it's to really ask ourselves, what is truly authentic here? And could I stay curious, right? And allow myself to change my mind. So the mending card here is about giving yourself permission to change your mind. It is also a forgiveness card, but in this case, it's to forgive means to let go where you are tightly holding on, and to allow for something different that you've actually really been rigidly holding on to show up for you. Being able to recognize, I've learned more, so I can change my mind now. So that loosening of that tight grip is also here. So and a leg up is you don't do it by yourself, right? I sometimes think that when we're in our heads too much, we're behind enemy lines, right? So this is really also I will say about the forgiveness is that in order for us to regenerate, we also have to, again, compassionately forgive ourselves and also forgive humanity as a general. It's a more of a vaster type of forgiveness. One thing I do want to say about the concept of forgiveness it's not, sometimes people use it too quickly, that, oh, I'm going to forgive that right away. But the truth is, if you don't deal with the feeling state, the anger or even, the sadness, the disappointment, all the really difficult feelings that come around with that, you can't get to forgiveness. You can't, right? Because what you're just doing is repressing yourself. What's already in motion? These 3 cards tell us something that's happening it's in the hidden areas of our lives. Like, it's already in motion, and it's not something that we have to think about, and it's not something that we have to do anything about. And what's interesting is it's time to go, not for you, and building block. So what's already going on is a deep desire in the collective to move on and to move into a new way of approaching life. And it's much more of a broad collective energy that's inviting us to say, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I definitely know something better needs to be here. And what can I do? The question is like, what can I do to help set down a solid foundation, not knowing exactly the form, because we always think that we know what's best, that we know the form that it's supposed to take. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't, right? It's going to show up the way it shows up. And sometimes it shows up in a way that we don't like, but it's the next step into moving into something that's best for everyone, right? So it's kind of letting go that tight hold again, both sections there. Let go our need to see things specifically, exactly, and also to loosen up how much energy we place on things remaining the same, right? That's because they can't remain the same. This is the motion area. This is the part saying it's not. Like, we are moving forward, like it or not. Change is imminent. This is all about change and recreating a more solid foundation for what you want to co-create. Now, what's also really cool about this is what the next 3 cards are. So, which is so beautiful, because the next 3 cards are all about these 3, which is about the change that's already happening and set in motion. And it's also requiring us to be discerning. And here, this is what does Spirit have to say to us? Look at this: blessed, imagine, and higher power. So it's saying you are blessed. And it's interesting, because I'm teaching a course at the I Can Do It in Phoenix about the 7 spiritual laws of change. And it's actually saying this right here in this reading, that there is purpose to all change, that change is about growth and evolution and expansion. And you are blessed right now, and use your imagination rightly, that you are gifted imagination as a superpower, right? Whatever you can imagine, you can co-create right now. And it is the blessing of the universe, the blessing of God, the blessing of whatever you call your higher power, that there is a blessing inherent in all of this, even in the deepest pain. We just don't know what we're witnessing and why, because we're not told. So this is to say, like, what are we making this all mean? And so it's also asking us to think globally, but act locally. So how can we, right, the first 3 weeks of the month for sure, get into that gentle, watery place, that the fluidity of saying, where are the parts of my unmet life, and what have I done and not done, and not to make judgment, but just to say, I can let this go. There's a lot but it's letting go, like, not I'm cutting you off. It's a letting go and really being honest with yourself, right? And the collective is already there. It's saying we need something different. So beautiful first 3 weeks. I will say that the end of the month is going to be a lot different. And usually when we go into Aries anyway, we feel it, but I think we're going to feel it even more stronger. We're going to have a lot more energy. The vitality feels more obvious to everybody, and it's a lot of action towards the things that we have recognized in the first 3 months, and then action on the brand new things that we want to do and accomplish, etc. Remembering that you have a unique purpose, and it is 100% going to be made clear. once we hit Aries. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this. We're going to be back to do the Astro Oracle reading. And don't forget, March the 9th, please come. It's going to be so much fun. It's free and anybody is eligible for a reading. I know we also have some VIP spots that we're offering people, but literally we're taking readings from anyone, in the group that shows up. So, it'll be a lot of fun and, I hope to see you.
Get ready.